we did more in less than a year than I've seen done in many years at many companies.
That it never felt like, an external company. It was a single cohesive Finch team that was working on it, kind of, and greatly augmented by the Euristiq engineers that we had on board.
But yeah, they were always brought really insightful feedback, good steering in the right direction, and it was always really helpful to get their contributions to that.
And being honest, there's nothing that I would change about the engagement that we had.
So I'm Steve Knapp. I'm CEO and co-founder of Finch.
This is Craig Phillips. I am the Chief Design Officer and co-founder at Finch.
My name is David Hayes. I'm the CTO and I lead the engineering team here at Finch.
So we founded this company about a year ago, and our goal is to change the travel management space. And our focus has been on groups and how group trips are planned, especially things like offsites and company events.
Yeah, so we partnered with Euristiq to help us build the first implementation of our platform. So it was a greenfield project starting pretty much from scratch. So kind of the things that we were really looking for was a partner that we could kind of really tightly embed in our team, and that could help us move at a fairly high velocity. So the things that we were really looking for was kind of trust and the ability to work in that environment, and adaptability to kind of work in a fairly flexible and kind of free-form organization such as a startup is. And we were pretty delighted with the speed and the volume of work that Euristiq were able to get through for us during those implementation phases.
I previously worked at a company called Utmost, which was acquired by Beeline. And back then, we worked with Euristiq, had a couple of engineers back when I was there. And we found the Euristiq engineers to be our most skilled engineers within the team of about 36. So when we founded this company, we knew we needed some support, and Ivan was my first call.
From a kind of an onboarding process, we did spend quite a lot of time talking to kind of several potential partners. I think what really kind of stood out for us when we kind of went through the process with Euristiq was kind of the referenceability from real world customers, our ability to speak to other customers who were kind of more than happy to share their own references of very positive experiences, and also the ability to put kind of names and faces in front of us when we wanted to talk to them and kind of almost interview them beforehand. And as much as possible, that's not a skills check. We kind of knew the skills were there, as Steve said, from previous references, but really just to check the culture fit and everything like that. So it was great to be able to actually sit down with the engineers we ultimately worked alongside and get a real good sense of confidence that was going to work for us.
It was the not only the amount of output, but the quality of the output. We did more in less than a year than I've seen done in many years at many companies. And given that 2 out of the 3 engineers were Euristiq engineers, a lot of that is thanks to them, and just their sort of tireless effort and ability to create code that was very well formed by the time it was pushed. So I look back on the year and I'm absolutely gobsmacked at how much we've been able to accomplish, and that's largely thanks to the 2 of them.
So the speed at which they initially began to produce, then, as Steve has said, the sheer volume of the amount of work that we've moved across the year is very impressive. And I think the quality of it, when you're moving a lot of code and there's a lot of volume, that can often lead to a downturn in quality, but that was never the case with the engineers that we had on the team. There was an attention to detail and a rigor to the process, which is really nice to see given the volume of the code that we were producing as well. So it was an all-around positive experience for me.
There's nothing on my mind.
Realistically, and being honest, there's nothing that I would change about the engagement that we had.
Very. In fact, I've already done it. I've introduced Ivan to a couple of different former colleagues who've asked for recommendations with respect to software development partners. So yeah, there's 10 out of 10 in terms of that particular question, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I'd say exactly the same. 10 out of 10. I've already recommended Euristiq to 3 other development groups that I know, and introduced Ivan to one of them. And I'm slowly trying to convince one of the others to get in touch too. But I think, that's probably the best recommendation we can give, is to say that we will immediately engage again when we're in a position to do so.